for our featured review, we're going to Wonka. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination, of course. Brought to us this time by Timothee Chalamet, not Johnny Depp, not Gene Wilder.
Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah, Shamlet, if you're Adam, not into the whole brevity thing. Anyways, so I'm getting started on this one. So Wonka was directed by Paul King, who brought us the Paddington movies. I just looked up his IMDb page. He's a 6-time BAFTA nominee, which is impressive. And he decided to take on Wonka. And this is like a Wonka origin story. Timothée Chalamet dons the purple coat as Willy Wonka, working his way to London to start up his chocolate empire, and runs into some issues, some problems, some setbacks along the way, and meets some new friends as it goes along. This is like as wholesome of a movie as you could possibly get around the holidays. It's definitely one to take the kids to, which you can guess if it's made by the guy who did Paddington. It is a musical, kind of a classic musical with some more classical sounding numbers. It's not like a more modern musical like Greatest Showman, busted out some more modern sounding songs. This felt like a classic musical. Um, Timothy Chalamet, he pulled it off. I didn't think he could after the trailer, but he shows that he's got the charisma to actually pull off this character. But when it's all said and done, eh, eh. You can tell that it's a director everybody wants to work with. Like, it had a big cast of Olivia Colman, Keegan Michael Key, Rowan Atkinson, and of course Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa. um, but I don't know. It was just kind of meh for me. I'm giving it 2.5 stars. It wanted to be something like The Greatest Showman, and ended up being more like Jingle Jangle. Like, that's what I kept on thinking as I was watching it. Like, this feels like Jingle Jangle, the straight to Netflix Christmas musical that came out either last year or the year before with Forrest Whitaker. Um, and it even has a couple of the same people in it. Like, Keegan Michael Key is in that one as well, and the one girl, that
Noodle.
stays at the hotel with him. Uh, anyways, I
Kayla
don't.
Lane.
Is that her?
Yeah,
Trying to
Noodle.
remember. No, not Noodle. The one that's in the basement with it. Rocky Thakrar.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that's
Lottie Bell. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's her. She's in Jingle Jingle also. Anyways, 2.5 stars. I mean, it's fine. It's charming. Would I watch it again? Probably. Would it end up being a movie that I could watch on repeat at some point with the kids? I would have no problem doing it, but I can't say it's a quality movie at the same time. All right. Zach, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm mostly on board with you, Terry. First off, first 30 minutes of this movie passed out completely. I mean, it was like after Thanksgiving. Fell asleep right away as I hit the chair in the theater. So I don't know what happened in first 30 minutes of this movie. Okay, I'll say in all fairness, I mean, this could have been a lot worse. Okay, it could have been just another straight remake of the original, which we had in 2005, and that movie was awful. That was one of my worst movies of 2005, and that was one of the worst Tim Burton movies, which is saying something because he's made some bad ones. Or this movie could have gone kind of the direction that you were talking about, Terry, the Greatest Showman direction, and at least this movie didn't star Hugh Jackman, and at least it wasn't not directed by Tom Hooper, and at least it didn't have James, what's his name in it, like Corden. But honestly, I don't know. I found this movie like pretty. Okay, first of all, the songs are incredibly unmemorable and uninteresting. Yeah. There's like no life to them whatsoever. Wonka's backstory is basically that he gets hustled out of town by this like trust, this monopolized candy makers who all team up with each other. Can we get a little more creative than that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know that much about the business world, okay? But the whole idea of this corrupt town pushing him out because he's trying to. I mean, this is, I don't know. It seems kind of basic. I would have, instead of having a plot around the business, I would have liked to have had it about his inspiration about chocolate. You know, why did he get into candy making? Why did he love making candy? You know, there's this new 4-hour documentary by Frederick Wiseman out that's all about one of the greatest restaurants in the world. And then we have this upcoming Juliette Binoche movie that's getting a lot of Oscar considerations on a lot of critics' top 10 lists. Why can't we get an origin story about Wonka enjoying and falling in love with baking and discovering things? Instead, this business thing, who cares? You know, it's a lame throwaway plot. Gosh, what else was I going to say? It's a long movie. It felt really long at 2 hours or however long it was. It tried to, I was like, oh God, we got to do this plot too. The little girl's very cute. I mean, she's got a great face and she's got a lot of charisma, and I would love to see her career continue. And I gotta say, that's maybe the best part of the movie. They have a very cute dynamic together, and I like it. Hugh Grant is weird in this movie. This movie probably didn't have enough weird in it for me. Although, again, the Tim Burton movie definitely had too much weird. But the closest thing to any sort of weirdness in this movie, which was one of the charming things about the 1971 movie, is Hugh Grant. And by the way, was Hugh Grant not in the original Paddington movie? Screw you, Hugh Grant. You messed up. No, he wasn't, because he messed up my Immaculate Grid 2 days ago. Apparently, he wasn't in the first Paddington. So what else?
Oh,
has he
Paddington
been doing
2, yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Hugh Grant. Another, LVP for this episode. Let's see. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. This movie also kind of reminded me of Chocolat, which was the 2000 Best Picture nominee over You Almost Famous, You Can Count on Me at High Fidelity. So that was well-deserved. It basically has the exact same plot as that movie, except the only thing that movie kind of had for it was basically an extended metaphor about censorship and about totalitarian governments, because the whole town resists the inflammatory and scandalous woman chocolatier played by Juliette Binoche. You can tell I have no interest in Wonka. Okay, I'm doing my best to talk about anything other than Wonka. I'm just going to go 2.5 because it wasn't with Hugh Jackman, and I'm never going to talk or think about this movie again.
Well done, Zach.
All right. Well, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Let's talk about Wonka. 2.5 stars for me as well. So I just got out about an hour and a half ago. I went to see with my daughter. She really liked it. I enjoyed the daddy-daughter date we had at the theater. A couple thoughts here. Olivia Colman and Tom Davis reminded me of Sacha Baron Cohen and Helen Bonham Carter and Les Mis.
The Thénardiers, absolutely. I thought.
Yeah,
the same.
so they were totally those characters there. Another fun thought here. So you read the small print is what the lesson Wonka learned here, but he used that lesson against his clients in Willy Wonka's Gene Wilder version. Like that seemed kind of messed up. Like I don't understand.
Well, he had to learn it somewhere.
Conspiracy theory.
Well, but at the same time, is why he got kind of I don't know. It kind of this one kind of, if you think about it too much, it kind of messes up the awesomeness, which is the Gene Wilder version. But Timothee Chalamet did
still aren't saying it right.
Did a really good job as Wonka. I thought even his quirkiness there, he kind of embodied Gene Wilder there. I can kind of see him being in that same kind of universe there. Very interesting that Slugworth played a big part in the name Slugworth played a big part in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory back in the day, and Slugworth was kind of the big bad here as well. I have to go back and rewatch it. Were the other two chocolate makers mentioned into that original film? I don't remember at all, but Slugworth for sure was, because he wanted to steal the everlasting gobstopper. The cast here is fine. The main girl here is Kala Lane, who plays Noodle. I really liked her story. I liked how she had that kind of happy ending there, and seeing Pure Imagination being sung once again on the big screen. Very fun. The very ending scene when they see the Wonka factory kind of being made and before our eyes was awesome. The candy didn't look too tasty, considering it's about candy. It's not the best looking candy out there, or chocolates or whatever.
Like bougie candy. It was like candy for aristocrats. It didn't look
pretty
like,
much, yeah.
Yeah.
There, he's selling them for whatever piece of money they use there. Also funny that they were going to drown by chocolate in it. I guess that's kind of a maybe. Whoops. Anyway. we'll cut that part out. But yeah, it's a fine movie, serviceable movie, a lot better than I thought it had any right being, considering it was a movie that no one really asked for an origin story of Wonka. It's a movie that I probably won't remember in a few months, but at the same time, if I get bored and I kind of want to see Hugh Grant as freaking Oompa Loompa, maybe I'll watch it again. So there we go.
I'm dancing now. We have to keep going.
Keep going.
And I don't think we need to worry about spoilers to a Wonka movie.
True.
So we're good.
There's already spoilers. Yeah.
He ended
What's
up.
funny is
he wins in the movie. He builds his factory.
pretty much he wins.
Just so America knows.
When he bent when Hugh Grant bent over and like looked between his leg and that like white. Well, he did the dance and he bent down. And he looked between his legs.
What movie did you watch?
Gas.
The R-rated version.
My daughter's like, he farted. That's like, oh, Evelyn, of course you went that way.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if there was an R-rated cut of Wonka? Now that is a movie I'd want to see. Like maybe get the guy that made that killer Winnie the Pooh movie, or actually no, not a shitty director like that, but like actually make an R-rated Wonka movie. That's more interesting. I mean, I think we're kind of getting at the problem with this movie is it's just not very interesting. Exactly, except that's Tim Burton and Wonka. We don't want that reunion. But just get someone
Wonka
weird.
Brought to you by Jordan Peele.
Well, yeah, or like get Aki Kaurismäki, get a Finnish version of Wonka. But like, here's the thing: is that the original? Okay, the original is a fun movie, and the original was just a little bit slightly subversive. I think the original has some kernels in it where it's a little bit critical of commercialism, of capitalism, and especially television. And the movie's it's kind of like, okay, look at how messed up society is. Look at these rich people trying to get the tickets. Look at these yokels from Texas watching the TV. And then Willy Wonka is just sort of exactly. This movie has zero to say about the world, about culture, about anything. So it to me, it's a very dumb movie. Like there's nothing remotely perverse about it. So I wish it had been an R-rated movie. Except I guess,
like I said, it's like the most wholesome movie that's coming out this year.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah. It's very Paddington 2.
I think we needed
a Michelle Obama.
We need a Michelle Obama PSA at the end of the movie to remind children that chocolate isn't good for you. And as much as Wonka is a great brand or whatever, you shouldn't be eating it all the time. This movie had a few fat jokes that offended some people, and I kind of second it. It's a little insulting. And then the last thing I was going to say about it too. Okay, so did we really feel the need for scenes during the credits? I mean, is that really at the end? And I've never been in a movie where the audience was so quiet during end credit scenes that were supposed to be funny. Nobody laughed. I think everybody was waiting for like an outtake or something, or maybe like Sally Hawkins to slap Olivia Colman or something, or like something crazy. Never happened. It was like, what was that? Oh, okay. I guess that's it. Very strange.
Yeah, very. It's like based on a true story. Like, really? That's what happened? Interesting.
That's a good point. Those are good points.
Did you take your kids to it?
My daughter went to it, yeah.
Okay. What was Evelyn's review?
Evelyn, she said, that was really good. What was your favorite part? When the daughter got back with her mom. That was her favorite part. And the candy. That was her two favorite parts. And the candy. Yeah.
It's like the whole movie.
Yeah. But I thought for the second, like, she was bored. Like, that's why I thought I was like, she wasn't really laughing or anything like that. She was just kind of watching it.
Yeah, that was my experience in the theater too, because there were several kids in the theater, but no one really laughed. But it seemed like they were watching it. Maybe they were just all like amazed and awed by the sheer amount of chocolate. Like, just staring at the screen, chocolate, like a dog staring at some sort of biscuit slightly out of its range. Like, that's the only explanation, because I don't think the movie's that entertaining, and the songs are awful. I mean, the songs are. I mean, can you think of a single lyric from any of the songs?
The best song was in the first 30 minutes.
Not that one.
Oompa Loompa.
I think it's safe to say that this song will not be a serious threat to any of Barbie's 3 or 4 songs that will get Oscar nominations. I think Barbie is safe in that category.
Probably.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, Wonka, it is thrice declined. We are all giving it 2.5 stars, but it's Two and a
It's a
half. I mean,
watchable 2.5.
it's
It's
a
a watchable.
watchable 2.5 star movie, and it's in theaters. I think I saw it made like 39 million this weekend at the box office. But about to be overpowered by all the Christmas releases coming out next week. So
Iron Claw. Let's go.
if it sounds good, go check it out. It's in theaters.